Okay, another episode of the Superficial Spirit is here with my iconic besties, Derek and Jess. How are you two?
Great.
Hello.
I was really looking forward to today, and mostly because it was in the morning. Last time we recorded, it was very late, 7:30 p.m.
That was 2 times ago.
It was?
Mhm.
Wait, what time did we record last time?
Same time, 10 a.m.
What?
Yeah.
And you automatically uploaded it. It was Monday.
Oh, right. It was Monday. Okay. Maybe I was just tired that Monday because it was the long weekend.
I messaged Jess like, did he get it up
Wowzy.
already?
I did it right away.
10
Yeah,
minutes later.
I am going to try and do the episodes now on Monday. No real reason. Just I think Monday. I personally listen to my podcast during the week. So maybe other people do too. So for people listening, I think I was doing originally it was Monday, and then I moved to Sunday because I think it was like God's day, and I was like super spiritual. And then now
God
it's back
might
to
be
Monday.
real, and you don't want to mess up in case he is.
God might be real, although Britney's now an atheist.
So ergo, you two are an
heard
atheist.
Yeah, so I'm considering that option, just like Jess did last year, or maybe is currently still. The book There Is No God. What was it called?
I have to relook at it.
I was like being open to like being an atheist or something.
Yeah.
Was it The God Delusion?
No,
Oh,
it was
God.
a slimmer book. We'll have to put it in the show notes. I'll look after.
We were just before we started recording talking about like social media images generally, about like, well, can I tell them what we were just talking about, Derek, about you being like scantily clad and now like slowly, well, now you're wearing basically a turtleneck. It's a spaghetti strap. A spaghetti strap. It looks like honestly a bikini top from here.
It's
but
just a stringer tank, but yes, we can talk about that. Here, I'll show
just sort of like,
visuals.
there we go. And I was gonna say, once something is online, it's there forever. But let me tell you something. I was just in Vancouver, as you all know, and I was posting a lot at the parties I was at. And the person who used to film my videos when I was a pop star, Rami, very talented, so amazing. He made me look so expensive, spent so many hours, such a joy working with him. He commented on one of my videos when I was out, like on the story, thanks for my invite. And I was like, ha ha ha, because I thought he was being sassy. I got home and I was as I normally do, Google myself every couple of weeks just to see. And I was on YouTube and my music videos are gone completely. And I'm like, what the hell? They've been online for so long. Also, I started in a new department at work, and anytime I meet a new group of people, it eventually comes up that this is part of my past. So I messaged him and I was like, oh my God, the music videos are gone. And he didn't say anything. And now I think that when he messaged me and was like, where was my invite? Maybe he was actually mad and took them offline.
Shady boots.
I don't know if that's true.
And
I don't know if that's true or not, but I need, and then. Okay,
well, he owes you an explanation. They're your work too. So like, let's say if we're being really charitable, let's say we're giving him the benefit of the doubt, and charitably he maybe remove them because he doesn't think they showcase the quality of work he wants to be known for doing now. He still needs to tell that to you and give you the option to have them somewhere else.
I don't know legally or not, because I think it was the documentary I was watching on Tekashi 6ix9ine. I think that's how you say that rap artist name. Where when he had this big controversy, whoever he was working with just took down all his old videos, and that was that.
Yeah,
because he didn't own them.
It may not be a legal issue, like in terms of copyright. The filmmaker may have every right to do that legally. I don't think it's courteous or ethical.
Right. Totally.
Especially if and listen, like, I have no idea. He's never given me the sense that he's petty at all. And it's been years and years and years and years and years and years and years. I sense. Oh, all right.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, well, let's just talk about the size of that water bottle for a second. Can we
just go back?
It's 2 liters for those who are listening.
You bodybuilders. By the way, I know I had this whole
the classic GNC water bottle.
Maybe I'll talk to you about this online. I have one protein shake a day, and I'm thinking of adding a second. Why? I don't know. But is it healthy to have that many scoops of protein? This is a complete tangent, and I'm just asking you that because you're showing me the GNC water bottle. I'm not like, yeah. Anyway, That's
Sure. Yeah, there's nothing unhealthy about having like 2 protein shakes in a day. I mean, it obviously depends on the
One's like
content of
4
your
scoops. Plus, I take
um
collagen because white people's skin,
well, it
wrinkly.
just there's nothing unhealthy. I mean, you can't really overdose on protein, but your body can only process like 26 grams of it per hour, I think, or something like that. So if
Oh,
you're having more than that per serving, you're just going to be farting and shitting it out at some point,
yeah.
mostly farting. So yeah, I mean, you can have, especially if you're having it like in the morning and at night, that's a great time frame to have them, to have your protein shakes. But like, yeah, there's no, depending on, it's not unhealthy unless the contents of your protein formula are unhealthy somehow.
It's also like Evan's trying to put on weight right now, and it's so hard to eat as much as you need to really like focus on your macros and get like 160 grams of protein. It's like
Yeah.
insane. It does. And I love intermittent fasting. It gives me like a lot of energy, and you can't, it's hard to like eat a lot of calories and also intermittent fast. Anyway, that was a tangent. I want to go back to social media because I don't know if this guy deleted it on purpose. But yeah, we were talking about that before we started recording. But to start today, the real story I want to tell you is the other night I was invited to the finale for Canada's Drag Race because I, on the side of my day job, represent some of the queens. Jess, you probably don't watch Canada's Drag Race, I assume.
No.
Derek, have you even been watching this season? Yeah.
No.
Womp womp. Anyway, I went to the finale party because two of our talent, Jada Shada Hudson and Miss Fiercelicious, were both in the top 4. And I had a lot of anxiety about going out. I just don't like social obligation. Like, I like being around people that I enjoy and like going for coffee and having a meal. But when it's like there's something in my calendar that's looming that I don't really want to go to, but I know that I have to, and for this case, it was because of work. It just gives me a lot of anxiety. Plus, it was like, I don't want to party and I don't want to be around a lot of people who are partying. Anyway, whatever. It ended up being like this such a VIP experience that was like giving me so much like life. I got there and there was a huge lineup. The promoter saw me coming, was like, oh my God, Peter Breeze is here, brought me in front of the huge lineup. I was with my friend Michael. Steve was there, who's the manager of the girls. So I'm the Canadian agent. And we talked with another social media manager. The venue wasn't open yet, whatever, caught up. Photographer comes over, takes our picture. Also, I had hooked up with this photographer years and years and years ago. So I was like, oh, hello. And then he took a lot of pictures of me that night. Like, he kept bringing the camera back to me, which I wasn't complaining about.
Hell yeah.
But it was like such a like, you go in before everybody, then everyone, like the photographer's taking a picture, and then we went backstage and all the queens are getting ready, and it's like, these are famous Canadian queens. I had never met a couple of them in real life, so it was like a very backstage experience where, nobody's allowed back there, they're getting ready, whatever. I say hello, more pictures. Then we were taken to our seats, which were in the front row, and it was all reserved. All the famous drag queens come in once everybody's seated, Priyanka namely. Everybody's like, Priyanka's here, Priyanka's here. Priyanka's like, Peter Breeze comes and says hi to me, hugs me in front of everyone. And the whole show, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, it really reminded me of like back in the day when I was in the club scene. And then I get this overwhelming sense of just, this is like what I talked to you about like a few episodes ago when I went back to Vancouver, and I was like, what is my life? Why am I so normal now? And then I go to these experiences where I'm so far removed from that now that when I go into it, I feel like, oh my God, this is like a fantasy. And then those feelings creep up of like, oh, maybe I should have like, I wish I was a drag queen. Why didn't I become a drag queen all those years ago? Then
Like
I would be on TV.
FOMO.
Yes, FOMO. But then I go home at midnight and I feel so happy that my life is normal. And I feel like the lesson in that situation for me was like, having those experiences in moderation are good because it's fun and exciting, but the desperation of needing to be famous, and I'm watching these queens on stage, like, they're going to have a moment. They may or may not have longevity in their career. They may or may not have to go back to real life. And I remembered that, being in that space, and how stressful it can be to try and maintain a fantasy for so long. And I was happy that I was able to just like come back to my regular life. And I wanted to share that because a lot of what we talk about is the extremes people go to like maintain spirituality or like healthy living or fame or whatever. And it's so much better when you can like dip your toe in and leave. It's the same with like drinking and partying. Like, if you can be a casual drug user, whatever, if you do Molly like once a year, there's not really any problem with that. Same with drinking. You get drunk a few times a year, not really a big problem with that. And maybe a few times a year, you get to be a VIP celebrity, right? without it being toxic. So I wanted to share that with you
Yeah, I
guys.
love that.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I would agree. That's probably the way I would want to do the scene, if you like.
Yeah.
Dropping in once in a while, having people go, so glad you're here. And then, oh, we lost Jess.
Jess has gone to a VIP party immediately. She needs to deal
I'm
with
here. I
that.
had a sneeze.
Okay.
She's like, I need to go to the club right now.
I love that you muted and turned your camera off to sneeze. Thank you for that. I guess you didn't want to
So
interrupt.
professional.
Yeah, I just think it's fun to drop in and have people be like, yeah, so glad you're here. See you next time. And then you get to go home to bed at a reasonable hour.
Yeah. And then wake up and be like, I'm so glad I'm not waking up and being like, damn, I need to go out again tonight to like keep the momentum going. The other thing I want to share,
And then
because
you get like people get bored of you.
they get bored of you, believe me. They get
Like
bored of you
if they saw you
fast.
every week. So like it's nice
Well,
to have that
first-
fanfare.
But the first wave is like when you're new to the scene and you're new and exciting, they don't get tired of you. They want to see you all the time. But then in 5 years, somebody newer and younger and more innovative comes up. Like some of the drag queens that performed that night that I had no idea that were just getting onto the scene were fucking amazing. And they were hungry. They were like, they wanted so bad to be the next Priyanka or Jada or whatever. And so they had that hunger. So yeah, they get bored of you once something newer and shinier comes along. I remember that in the fucking club scene. As soon as I was like, I don't want to party anymore, people were like, boring, bye, see you later. If you're not gonna fucking do coke with me every night, which I never did.
Never.
Okay, one more thing, because we talked about this last week. I remember how I took Instagram off my phone.
Yeah.
It's been 1 week and I feel good. I am checking it on my desktop, but I feel like I might deactivate it for a while and see if I can go without it even existing. And Derek, I know you don't use Facebook. Jess, you brought up a good point last week that you do use Facebook because that's where your family and the people you really are connected to. And I feel like that is a better use of social media. So now I'm contemplating maybe no Instagram, no Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I am, but I don't use it. And just going back to Facebook where I have 5,000 friends anyway, so I can still like promote things. But yeah, I feel good about no Instagram. I'm checking it like 30 seconds a day. Is
Do
there
you get a lot of
messages?
DMs or anything that
I check them in the
know?
morning and I do get back to them, but I only get a lot of DMs when I'm posting all the fucking time and I'm
Right.
like high engagement and I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to, honestly.
Wait, what happened to the weekly? What was it called again?
Oh, what the
Oh, you were doing the
What was that
secret. weren't you?
daily?
No, it wasn't The
daily,
Secret.
Oh.
It was A Course in Miracles.
A Course in
Right.
Miracles.
And I'll tell
What
you
happened to that?
exactly what happened to that. Well, doing something once a day is hard, and I just lost interest. I just was like, why am I doing this? Why? I know why. I was trying to promote the podcast and I was trying to like find new ways to like get my message out there about like spirituality and pop culture, but it just feels like a vacuum sometimes. Like you don't get the audience right away, or like you don't see the steady growth. And it's like, why am
Yeah.
I doing this? Like, who cares? I just, an influence, like emerging as an influencer is not a science. Like you can't just post good content and suddenly be an influencer. There's so much more to it than that. And I just, part of me is like discouraged. I lost interest. And then I guess just those two things, honestly.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, I think that would play really well on TikTok. And I believe we talked before about how TikTok really pushes you to people who are looking for a particular thing. And it's really, really great at driving audiences to another platform. So just an idea that might
I know. I feel like everybody I know has 50,000 TikTok followers. So they,
because it's easy.
I know, but then if everybody's fucking that popular, does it really matter?
No, it does, because first of all, just the way TikTok is organized, you can sort of consume endlessly, right? So people aren't their energy is not limited to, I'm a fan of this person, so I can't be a fan of something else. You basically are, if you're on, let's say, Spirit Talk, I don't know what they call it, then everyone doing that can be a part of your media diet on TikTok, basically, right? So it's not an exclusive sort of thing with people's attention on TikTok for sure. And then also like, someone else's large followership doesn't in any way like limit yours.
No, it doesn't.
If anything, a rising tide floats all boats.
I'll think about it. I'm like, really,
it's hard to use. Like, I don't know how to use TikTok and I don't want to learn how. And I know that if I did, like, I could drive more content to whatever it is I'm trying to drive viewers to. Twitch, Instagram, who knows? I don't know. Maybe I don't care. I know that I could. I just don't. I'm too old. Like I don't get it. So
yeah, and you have to like do the trends. I mean, there's a girl who I work with who is same person who's like super manifester, is growing her TikTok following, and she does like tech sales stuff, posting all the time, like every single day. It's like a big part of your workflow. And that's always been hesitant to me. Like if you do it once a week, you're not really going to get the benefit. You kind of have to commit to it now. Like social media is not a passive thing anymore. Well, I guess it can be, but like something like TikTok, you can either passively engage or you like go for it and really dive in and let yourself be consumed by it and not be scared of like using social media 8 hours a day, because that's something that you're trying to do, as opposed to like feeling guilty or like, why am I scrolling so much, which I tend to do.
It's also something, TikTok, that really facilitates niche interests though, which is exactly what Superficial Spirit is. And your like the Peter Breeze approach to culture, I guess, is a really niche interest, and people's appetite to consume a lot of content from the various niches they're interested in is basically limitless, right? This is kind of what we call it long tail marketing, right? Like there's a big spike on things like Britney Spears. Everyone likes Britney Spears, but then way down here you've got, I don't know, Grimes or something, and like that's a really long section of the tail. Like there's a spike at Britney Spears, and then everything over here on the tail where it goes slopes down and goes along, there's so much stuff out here, and that's a huge audience, potentially bigger than the one where Britney Spears spikes interest, right? So
but what would I do TikToks about? What would like, do I talk?
Well, A Course in Miracles, exactly what you have been doing on Instagram.
Or like previews to the pod.
Yeah, I've thought
my
about that
husband
too.
does use it more to market his disc golf business, and he's not on that or Instagram a lot, but he definitely sees more success making the TikTok video there, and then he'll add it to Instagram, but he gets a lot more hits on TikTok, and he just uses whatever the most popular song is. Sometimes I'm like, why'd you use that like weird song that sounds like how to make an apple pie in 5 seconds type of song? And he's like, well, that's what they're suggesting is the most engaged song. So I think, again, minimal use, but he's seeing like more success there.
So he's building a following, or he's making sales?
I think it's somewhat translating to sales. I don't know his exact data on that. But sometimes he gets like specialty discs that are, I don't know, they some of them like sell out within like the day he puts them up if they're like connected to a certain player. I don't know all the terms in disc golf.
I've never.
So I would have to ask him like a little bit more about that. But I know I'm always like, why are you doing that on TikTok? Because I'm not on TikTok. And he does claim more success.
And what's the end goal? This is the same as working out. Like I'm always like, oh, I should try and put on 10 more pounds. Why? Like, I guess that can just be the goal in itself, and building a following and finding community can be the goal in itself. But I find that I get really udderless quickly if I'm not like, where am I going? What am I doing? Like, if it's my body, like, what do I want to look like? Or what's the end goal? And if it's a following, do I want to just be popular? Do I want to increase the listeners on the pod? Do people find people on TikTok and then automatically just listen to their podcast? Like, I don't know. These are the questions.
Well, it's udderless, not rudderless. So I guess,
oh my God.
should I maybe...
Wait, you guys cut out. What did you say? Oh no. I'm frozen. I'm a frozen ocean. Like,
yeah, not that I know.
Wait.
Hello.
Hi. I'm here. Does it still record? Like, what happened?
No, it stopped.
Now it's recording again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know
okay.
what happened. I'm gonna sue the internet. Did you guys
No,
talk
I
about
lost
me
you.
while I was gone?
You're still a little choppy.
What the fuck?
Is it tell us out there?
Maybe I will go to my dining room. Hang on 1 second.
It's a laptop. There's your problem.
No, it's because my office is at the other end of the place and it doesn't always have the best reception. So just hold on. Henny. We can record, like we can just keep talking while I do this,
Mhm.
and just see if this works.
Now I've forgotten where we were.
Me too.
Well, we were talking about TikTok and if
Right.
we should do things.
Oh,
If
right.
I
Oh,
should.
and then I was wondering, you mentioned uploading these to YouTube, and I wasn't sure if you started doing that or not. Can't answer. Okay, now he's doing something weird with the mic.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm just gonna unplug. I think I can unplug not this. I'm gonna lose the ring light, so please don't scream in horror.
God.
Instantly becomes gremlin.
Okay. Let's try out here.
Oh my God, like anyone walking around with like a camera reminds me of just like Blair Witch or like a
Right.
scary movie. Peter, can you hear us?
Yes.
Um,
This is where I come from my work meeting, so it should be more
no, you
stable.
look great. You have like a saint like halo with
So this
that.
is a piece of art that I got in Kensington Market, and it reminds me of me at the club, because he's like they are a club kid, and like kind of disco-y, and they're having the third eye and also the bleeding heart, and I'm like, that's
Yeah, I love
that's
that.
me.
Wow, cool. And like the
It was expensive.
labyrinth kind of halo
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
the labyrinth
Yeah.
of the mind. I also yeah. Anyway, that's another tangent. So yeah,
We
social
are
media.
all
I don't,
over the place.
the social media thing is like, yeah, I know, and I'm hesitant to upload to YouTube because I feel like I'm like, well, I need a better background. I need to like get better lighting. Like, I just
no.
like
Again,
we
like
just start
people love the
uploading?
random shit. Like
yeah,
my parents love when you yell at Evan.
yeah.
Like, you know.
So do
like
the neighbors.
stuff always takes off when it's kind of crunchy and authentic looking, and then as people establish that, that's when they start buying like expensive shit. But you always see those people's old videos who are like now big bloggers or whatever are super janky. People like that. It's authentic.
Okay, well, I'll start uploading to YouTube with this episode. But then it's like, what if people find this episode and then they're like, well, why aren't his old episodes on there? Why I want to like, this is the thing. I
them
think
up.
too
Stop
much.
thinking
Basically, I
about
think too
people
much.
thinking.
Anyway, we've been talking for like half an hour and about nonsense, but that's okay. There was big news this week. Obviously, my grandmother died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, I was talking about the Queen.
What queen?
Stop it, Derek.
Derek, I saw
I
you.
don't know.
Oh my God.
You mean Beyonce?
Yeah. Oh, that was your post, right?
She died? No, someone else. I stole that joke. Someone posted that. Someone posted their like they were videoing their mom and they were like, the Queen died, and she's like, Beyonce died? That's funny. Yeah, okay. So the Queen died, yeah. And what do we have to say about that?
Well, I mean, like her or not, it's obviously a historical moment, right? Like, you know,
Yeah, can't argue with that.
She is the Queen. I found like right away, I was in a work meeting and people were like, oh my God, the Queen's died. And it's like everybody sort of like goes and checks the news. And then very quickly, I think the first anti-Queen post I saw was, good, burn in hell, bitch.
Rip bozo.
Wow, that happened quickly. And you know what, to be honest, didn't even cross my mind when I heard she had died. I didn't even like consider I've heard anti-monarch rhetoric before. I don't see the point of them also. I love the story of Princess Diana. I think like, you know, Meghan was a juicy news story for a while. Like when they left the royal family, I thought that was pretty cool. But people seem to be very split. Like they're either like, the Queen is an icon, or they're like, fuck the Queen, she ruined the world. Any thoughts?
Sure. I don't care even the tiniest bit. I think, I think it's cringe to care at all about this. I will say, like, I think the only approach that I think is appropriate to any of this is total irreverence, because the love for the Queen is like a mind virus infecting most of the British people, and apparently lots of Canadians and Americans too. I don't understand. It's delusion and it's insanity. but I don't care.
Wait,
right?
what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, go deeper to that.
You
What do you mean
can't,
it's a
I
mind
mean,
brand virus?
she's literally a monarch. She's the queen. You can't criticize her. No British politician can criticize her at all if they want success in politics. But she is she's like the wealthiest landowner in the world. They hoover up billions of dollars a year in the British people's taxes just to support their lavish, luxurious lifestyle. And uh uh they're I kind of lost my train of thought, but they
Well, yeah, same. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how much I care. Like, bummer, someone
Wow,
died.
I
who was
thought
like,
you two would be way more fucking into this topic.
oh yeah,
Okay.
I remember what I was going to say. The end of that little like stream of consciousness was going to be that they hoover up all of this money and oh shit, I lost it again. Holy shit. I'm a little hungover.
Oh, there we go. Have a drink. Hair of the
Oh,
dog.
and yes, and they are this way. Like the idea of divine birthright rule and status in this way is stupid, and I can not see any value in this kind of status as a function of the circumstances of someone's birth. I cannot see why we still have institutions like that, right?
Do you
well, I think people
yeah.
are wondering if that institution will kind of dissolve now with her no longer here.
Well, the king is already,
I mean, he might die tomorrow too. He's pretty old. And then if everything's just gonna kind of dissolve, but maybe not in like the very near future, but I don't know too much, about it to speak eloquently about it. But
as much as I think it's like stupid and the only appropriate response to the Queen's death is to clown on the monarchy hard, I also think it's like pretty annoying that the typical thing is happening where if anybody posts RIP with a picture of the Queen on social media, they're going to get DMs about, did you know imperialism?
Right.
Like, who cares?
Yeah,
like, let
same.
people, if you want to be sad, if it's just a celebrity thing for you and you're sad, okay, you were sad when Betty White died, whatever. I don't see how this is any different. Just let people fucking post the rip to the Queen if they want to. I don't really care. But I had a friend who had, I didn't see his initial post about like rip to the Queen or whatever, but I saw 3 consecutive makeup posts about how I have listened to my my friends who are people of color, and I apologize for for eulogizing the Queen in the way that I did. I have now been educated on how insensitive that was and the effects of British imperialism on nations like Africa. Like, he had to do an apology. Like, come on. Yes, okay, fine. If you are somebody who has been affected, if you're like a South African, a Black person, right, who was alive during the time of apartheid and Thatcher, or you have family history that has been affected by all of that, so by British imperialism, there are many places where that's the case. Awesome. But like, not awesome, I guess. What I mean is it's awesome to like have criticisms towards the monarchy, as much as I certainly do as well. But like, that doesn't mean you have to impose on everyone. You have to tone police everyone for like just saying this lady died, rest in peace. Like, the tone policing is annoying to me. The only response is to clown on the monarchy, I think, and to joke about it.
Well, what okay, a few things. Is celebrating or like mourning or supporting the idea of the monarchy different than standing pop stars or like the Kardashians? Like,
well, the comparison I would make is if George W. Bush died tomorrow and people started posting like RIP George Bush, just let them do that. The guy's a war criminal. Yeah, he's responsible for the deaths of like hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians. Like, yeah, that's very bad. Like, yes, hate George Bush. Everyone, it's cringe to post rest in peace George Bush, but let people be cringe. It's not harmful to anyone, right? If it's a personal friend and it hurts your feelings, if your family like fled Iraq at some point or something like that, or has been affected, and you see your friend posting that, you might want to be like, look, like I really don't like George Bush, and this does kind of feel bad to me. But the tone policing and just saying to like a random person, you shouldn't be publicly saying anything about the Queen because someone somewhere might feel bad. Like, fuck off. Like, if it was George Bush, people can say rip to George Bush. It's cringe, it's dumb, it's bad. It's maybe historically a little bit tone deaf, but like, so
they're allowed to
people can be tone deaf on their social media. When it's not super harmful like that, right?
Do you think there is a chance that the monarchy will ever go away?
Well, so I was saying I think so, but not in like the near future. But we'll have to see what happens with the king.
Oh, God save the king. When we were like, when COVID first happened, and they were talking about like we all got CERB in Canada. Jess, Canada is the country that's just above America. Just so you know.
Thanks.
Lots of towns. Um
The town of Canada.
the town of Canada. There was some people who were giving backlash about the fact that we got every Canadian basically. Well, I don't know, Derek, you probably know if that's true or not. Got $2,000 a month to live and make sure that they could pay rent and blah blah blah. Some people got rent reduction, some people didn't. Businesses got money. And I remember when it was getting into be like the 6th or 7th month and people were still getting CERB, even though some variations of reopening were happening, there were business owners who were like, this is ridiculous. What incentive is there for people to work if they're getting paid to sit on their ass at home? And then the whole conversation about like universal basic income comes up because like, well, why shouldn't we just be doing this all the time so that people can meet their basic needs? They can pay their rent, they can buy food, they can do this. And then there's a whole class of people who benefit off of the workers and being able to pay them very small wages so that they can continue to thrive, that didn't like that idea. And it used to fucking piss me off so much. And this is my anarchist spirit that I call it, comes out when I think about the monarchy too. Like, why are these people allowed to just live these lives because they were born and at some point in history somebody decided that they were God, what is it called, they were God kissed them on the lips and they became royals. Yeah, which I feel like that's not fucking fair. Like less and less so, they have so little impact on our lives, but they represent such a horrific part of colonialism. So I just wonder how long. It's the same with offices who have empty office buildings right now. And it's like, how long are they going to continue this symbolic of like, we need an office, we need a place for people to come, before they're like, wait a second, this is just costing us millions and millions and millions of dollars. Evan, turn it down. Press the button. Turn it down. I'm on a live stream. Don't get into relationships. That's my.
He knows
that's
that's
my
fan
message.
service. He knows everyone loves that.
Yeah, does he hear me saying that?
Okay, so yeah, like how much longer can it go? And even monarch people who love the monarchy and are whatever they're called, they feel sentimental towards it. How can they at home be like, yeah, they take billions of dollars, like you were saying, Derek, just so that they can continue to live in the castles and travel around the world? And it just seems so fucking weird. Why is this?
It's weird. It's super weird. That's the mind virus infecting Britain.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, the mind virus. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, that due to the circumstances of your birth, like I made some joke that like people were Raja the drag queen actually posted something that was subtly anti-monarchy and people didn't really get it. They thought she was being supportive of the monarchy, but she wasn't. She posted like the Sex Pistols song, right? Which is not pro-queen. And God save the queen. And people were like, this is not it. And like tone policing Raja the drag queen. And I made some joke where I was like, well, at least she did something for her crown. Like it's actually a more legitimate claim to queendom than Queen Elizabeth had. Like, it's just silly. Like the circumstances of your birth being the reason you're special. Again, I would reference, a certain political group that felt that way as well, right? In Germany. So, it's just so weird. Like, it's
you didn't pick up on that before, Peter?
Was it subtle? It was too subtle.
Just got it right now.
I mean, it's just so, it's so weird. And it's frankly kind of gross. Like the idea that someone is special and ordained by God to be the head of state and have all this power. And people say she doesn't have power. That's ridiculous. Of course she has power. She's literally a queen. Millions of people all over the world are mourning her for 10 days. Like, you think that's not political power?
I hope we do get a national holiday though. I am hoping for that.
We won't.
Why?
Well, apparently in the UK, it's something that businesses have discretion to do. They can give you a day off or not, but it's not a bank holiday. It's not a federal holiday.
I heard that Trudeau might be doing it.
No, I don't think so. He said already Ottawa circulated memos saying that no federal or provincial or municipal buildings will be closed.
Okay. Somebody actually that I was speaking with was using what you just said as an excuse. Like, I know that she is this thing and the colonialism and slavery, and it's so bad, but she couldn't help that she was born into that. I mean, she was just doing what she was born
she could have stepped
to do.
down.
Yeah. I mean, She could have stepped down. Yeah. Back
She could have
then, the
dismantled the monarchy.
conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then the conversations weren't happening. Oh, that was the other thing. Is it possible for the monarchy to evolve to the point where the people who can you ever reconcile colonialism within the monarchy? Can the two exist at the same time? Can they face that, heal it, and reconcile it in some way and still be the monarchy?
Can they PR their way out of imperialist history?
Or I
No.
don't know. I guess
I
that's the
don't think
question.
so. I mean, as long as
They had opportunity to make themselves look better welcoming in Meghan, and
Right.
they didn't.
They fucked that
So
up.
They
they're
totally
not
didn't.
changing.
Right. How black is the baby going to be? Right.
Did you guys watch The Crown? That's like the only information I have on this family.
I did watch
No.
The
It's
Crown.
so good.
It's so good.
I
It's
haven't, but I
very
will now.
expensive.
Actually,
It's
I
so
will
good.
watch
It's
it.
good. I mean, the family dynamics are interesting. Margaret, Elizabeth's sister, was like the Lindsay Lohan of her time. Could not stop partying and chain smoking. Loved to come home in the middle of the night. Had all of her secret boyfriends. Married a divorcee guy. Oh no, wanted to. Was so in love with him. The Queen said no. I'm sorry. Very interesting. And the next season is going to be about Princess Diana. And I can't wait to that whole conversation to come up again. Also, imagine being William and Harry, going on social media and seeing all of the people like wishing your grandma to burn in hell, and also the memes about your grandma killing your mom.
I feel so bad for those princes.
It's just like when Evan says,
That must be hard.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The rich and famous people have problems too, you guys. Right. Okay, we can move on from the Queen now.
Well, I believe they do have problems, actually. And I believe that being born a child into that environment is probably pretty fucked up. Like, if we think of nothing else, if we can make all the arguments about imperialism and whatever, and, you know, taxes and taxation and Nazis that we want, but like being born a child into that family seems to suck, right? So
yeah, I would never want it.
I mean, for that reason alone, like maybe make it stop.
Yeah. Like, it sounds like there is zero sympathy for just the existence of those people, the royal family, because it's like,
well, not among the three of us apparently, but among, I guess, a huge portion of the public there is actually. People are.
I always like to think that people are
sad,
still
which is
human
weird.
beings and they have feelings, like Erica Jane from the Housewives, even though she may have stolen millions of dollars. Who knows? She says no. Britney, you know, empath for the rich and famous.
Well, again, like I actually think about George Bush. There was this controversy when Ellen was photographed like
Yes, I
palling around
remember.
with George Bush at like a
Baseball
basketball game. And people were like, wow, you're palling around with a war criminal. So much for like being kind.
And she's like,
and that
kind.
was the argument that people were making. They were like, you can still be kind to someone. You can still be kind to an individual. I'm like, if you're choosing to be kind to someone who's done the things he's done, that's what we're criticizing. Like, that's the problem. You know,
like you overlook it.
Yeah.
But then
Wait,
how
I
do
do
you
want to know more. Sorry, semi-changing the topic.
Jess,
I
you
do
go.
want to know more about the Britney. Did she put it out in the ether that she's atheist now? Where did that
yeah,
information
she's
come from?
okay. So basically, after her kids talked, she released another voice note that basically was like, you fucking kids don't know anything, and I don't really I don't care what you're gonna say. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna do my thing. You only know, she did bring up a point, like her kids only know her through the lens of the conservatorship, because they were so young and then she was in it. So they only know this narrative of her being unhealthy and unwell and she needs all this support. So she alluded to that. She said, if you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. I'm paraphrasing here. But then the last thing she said was like, I don't believe in God, because if there was a God, I wouldn't have gone through this much shit and my family wouldn't be continuously talking about me in the media. And she said, yeah, I'm an atheist. And then the official atheist Twitter or something welcomed Britney to the community. So I don't think, I mean, she talks a lot about God in her posts. So is she actually an atheist? I don't know. But I just always get the sense that she's feeling the emotion and posting instantly. And in that moment, she didn't believe in God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
we can
all.
introduce her to the Satanic Temple.
That's next.
Imagine. Holy shit. I would love that arc for Britney Spears. The Satanism album.
Oh my God. And being so open about it.
That would be my favorite era. Her and fucking Lil Nas X doing a duet.
That needs to happen anyway. Apparently she's recorded a song with Mariah Scary.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I had
like
another
Mariah.
speaking of crazy people on social media, we us three stumbled upon an interesting situation this past week. Does somebody want to sort of set the stage for the person and the thing?
Yeah, I guess I'll just like try to give as high level a flyover as is necessary for background, but like I'm connected with someone who experienced like a really traumatic injury, and then it's a head injury. So I think when you have a really bad concussion, you can be prone to like blacking out again in the future if it was super bad. And like this was happening to this person. So basically they were just posting about it like, this first I had this injury, now I'm kind of blacking out. I almost died again from this. And it was just interesting that a lot of people went to mysticism in the comments like right away. Someone had posted, it really sounds like their trauma, like they ended up in a lake twice. So it really sounds like in a past life you had problems with water. My brother had problems with his fingers in a past life, and that's why in this life he had them amputated. And then after they were amputated, he kept almost having them amputated even more. So I can clear this for you if you want, because after my brother cleared his finger trauma from his past lives, he hasn't had any more problems. And I'm like, you mean after losing them, he had no more? They're not there to have problems with anymore. So it's pretty much a done deal. Anyway, so yeah, that's so right. It's so, and
the guy seemed interested in this post. He's like, okay, I'll DM you. And I'm like, no.
yeah. And you can talk about the post that you made as well, Jess.
No, I mean, I think you commented and then on his post.
I just posted LOL.
Oh, well, you said something was deleted.
LOL on that comment.
On the one about past life trauma, yeah.
Yeah, and then on that comment, I said, oh, wait, something like, I hope you actually like go to a neurologist, first and not talk to this past life dude. And then he said something like nice back. He's like, no, I'm looking into that too. But then when I tried to press back on the comment and said the whole comment was deleted. So it actually looked like he deleted the guy's comment about the past life stuff, maybe because he was getting so much crap about that.
Yeah. It's I think the thing that came up for us all when we were talking about it was the idea that like when someone is like, well, so Peter, I thought of you and Evan, right? When you felt like nothing, like Evan, you weren't seeing the recovery that you wanted when Evan was sick, and you started turning to like other things. So it made me think of how people, when they're vulnerable, they are vulnerable to like these weird mystical predators.
And looking at the person's account who posted about past life thing, like when I looked on his account, it kind of just looked like one of those shady accounts, like a young almost kid who's saying like he can help you with your past life stuff, and all his pictures were like selfies. It just looked like a weird scammy account. So I don't know, raise red flags too.
I think it's important that we come back to this again and again, because it is the most vulnerable people that are susceptible to this. And what was wild to me is like somebody could read a post like that and their real mind, like actually the only conclusion they can come to is that it's a past life fucking regression, or that's a past life trauma. And I'm like, that is a really dangerous way to like, okay, if you go through the world, and I'm kind of like this, believing like good things can happen, I can draw positive experiences into my life by working hard and being optimistic and being a good person, but also accepting that shit is also going to hit the fan sometimes, and that's beyond my control, but choosing to be optimistic and choosing to believe in that magical side of life is one thing. But then like just chalking up every single thing that happens that gets a divine lesson, or that it's linked to some mystical realm or experience is so scary. Because what if that person who's experiencing the trauma, the very real trauma, is like, I just need to go do ayahuasca and like go to my past life and heal this finger problem, and then it will be fine. Like, it's
and not maybe change the fact that I'm clumsy and work around saws.
Exactly.
But like I empathize because that was me like 5 to 10 years ago. Like so into that new age world. I've done so many past life regressions, whether it was like me actually going under hypnosis and like not someone telling me my past life, like I am saying my past life. And I've also had it the other way where I just go to a past life reader and she downloaded some of my past lives to help me kind of navigate what was happening in my life now. So, I don't, I don't like to like completely roll my eyes and be like, oh my God, it's so ridiculous. Cause I know what it's like to be like in that culty mindset. That's why I still say like New Age was my cult without like this very clear leader, because we see how that happens through, even the QAnon cult, like anyone, there's so many online cults, you just wrap yourself up in it. It's like, how did this happen? So yeah, I still want to be like empathetic, sympathetic. I know I was there. I know how that can happen.
Yeah. And easy to go back to too. Like I mean, part of the reason why I want to get off social media is because I feel like for me, it's the cult of celebrity, Britney, like Housewives drama that I'm just like constantly checking. And I just don't think it's good for me. I'm very much in this like mindfulness place where I'm trying to like clear up space where like I'm trying not to mindlessly do anything. I don't know if that's realistic long term this day and age, but when it comes to the cult of anything, I think it's like the obsession and the intense connection to needing an answer and a way and a path and filling up that God-shaped hole that nothing can really fill up except for maybe knowing yourself and being okay with who you are.
Fill that hole with some good divine dick.
Oh,
Can I ask I have a question for Jess, because having done these past life regressions, I'm wondering if you have any insight, because I asked this in our chat, but I'm so curious as to why would your current life reflect your past life? That to me doesn't make a lot of sense. It seems to me that if we're constantly being reborn in order to contribute to like this collective intelligence of the universe, that we wouldn't make the same mistakes. But it seems like anytime something happens, oh, you hurt your fingers in this life, it's because you hurt your fingers in your past life. Why the fuck did my soul not learn how to take care of my fingers between these two lives, right? Why? And is the collective consciousness getting frustrated with the guy who keeps fucking up his fingers in every life? Like, is he like, you know what, you need a break for a few millennia. If we need any more information on finger trauma, we'll send you right back in, I promise. Like, why would that happen?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the answer to that.
It's
because
just,
that does like, if you're
stupid.
thinking about like, because some of my beliefs were like, obviously reincarnation, and when you die, there's a possibility of your soul reflecting on your whole life and you'll know all the knowledge of all your lives. So yes, like that's a great question. Like if you keep getting all this knowledge, why would you get born again and like make the same mistakes or have the same finger pain or back pain or something as simple as like, why do I have like this huge birthmark here? I don't, but just saying if I did, it's like, oh, because, a spear went through my arm in my past life and that's still like a mark from it. Like those are the things that were, this type of things floating around the community. And those are, again, great questions, Derek, that when you're in it, you're not like, you're getting all this different information and you're not like thinking so clearly and asking smart questions.
I always interpreted the past life thing as basically everything is a test, and once you live perfectly and heal everything perfectly, the cycle ends. So the reason why you bring the trauma into your new life is because you haven't dealt with it yet, and if you deal with it, it'll go away. So you need to do this plant medicine, you need to do this cleanse, you need to do this course, you need to go see this palm reader, and I always like, it's the belief, same with Christians, if you are pure enough and if you heal enough, everything will be okay, all of your problems will dissipate, and you will ascend to the superficial spirit realm where we are all today. That's how I interpret it. Like it's back again on the consumer to heal themselves to a point where there is no problems, no anxiety, no depression, no physical pain, no emotional pain, no wars, no racism, no homophobia.
You are a
no
potato.
Cancer. Yeah, you are a potato.
Well, I think the word consumer there is really appropriate. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
What's the potato?
I just made up something that has no feelings. You're a rock. Potatoes are my favorite food.
I thought maybe that was like code because you guys both seem to get it. I was like, does that just mean like, is that a thing they say? You are seeking the potato status, like you're trying to make yourself a potato in one of your future lives finally, so you don't have trauma. Like a potato is free of trauma.
Evan and I both refer to like simple people as potatoes.
Really?
So that's why I laughed right away, because it's like,
That's
yeah,
funny.
you're just like, oh my God, that is a potato. I wanted to read. So one thing that I want to start doing on every episode is reading some comments and feedbacks that we get from listeners, and also encouraging
Good
people
feedback.
who good. I don't care. I can read hate. We should read some of the old YouTube video fucking comments.
I'm not
I
willing
used
to read
get.
any hate unless that person's willing to come on and defend it to me.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll see. I haven't gotten any hate yet, but I thought this was a great idea. Jess, you've recommended that we do this in the past. Leave a comment and we will read it on the show.
And my recommendation was for good comments. That's what my husband
I haven't
does.
gotten any bad one or funny comments. Like
or funny.
good. I mean, if somebody's gonna be like, this show fucking sucks, I don't know. Will I read that? I don't know. I'd rather know who they are and then we control them like we do everybody else.
I mean, I invite like not bad faith bullying comments, but I certainly invite disagreeing comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenging contents. I mean, this is my dream of like the superficial spirit, was like having really engaging conversations about what these profound ideas mean to individual people. Like, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for me? And if people listen to this and they feel strongly about something we've talked about, yeah, that's like, hello, that's what we want.
Yeah.
So this is a comment that we got recently. I loved this, and this is from Linisar. Linisar. I love this whole conversation. It was like listening to my friends chatting along with interjecting in my head. Okay, Lynn, hopefully you are talking to yourself on the bus. That would be great. You raised some great topics that are relevant to so many, I'm sure. Thanks, guys. And that was a recent one on our last episode, mindfulness and social
I would love
media
to invite
aging.
her on Twitch if she has comments in her head. Hopefully she can make the live.
Yeah, that's a
viewings.
great, and it's good, especially because we just recently changed the format. I mean, the show continues to evolve as I evolve and we evolve. So thank you for sharing that. Please send more comments to us, and also DMs. Like, we're all on social media. Oh my God, Jess, I'm so sorry. I keep getting your name wrong when I post about your handles. I don't know what's wrong.
You finally got the 3 S's. So my old handle was Jess with 3 S's and he only put 2. And I'm like, what the hell, Peter? Like every time. Now I went back to like another handle I have that has 2 S's and he was like JSSS. And I'm like, where's
Who
the
is that?
What are you
Who's that
doing?
So I will make sure that I get that right, and feel free to send any one of us individual messages with ideas, topics, feedback, and we will discuss it amongst ourselves and decide if we want to bring it on the show. But it's a great way to keep engaged and encourage people to send us love or hate, but we might not share the hate, even though I probably will, because attention is attention is attention.
And we can always, weekly put out there my mom's comments, where she has one every week.
We love
this one
the
was like,
mom.
who's the other guy? Okay, imagine like an accent.
Is that what she
right?
talks like?
not like that, but she definitely has a Jersey
Oh, because
accent.
you're from New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
She's like, who's the other guy in the pod?
I love that.
I'm just kidding. Sorry, Mom. I know you don't sound like that.
We need to bring her on.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's Derek, right? And she's like, all right, I love it.
I love it. I love you too,
actually-
Mrs. Probably Shipman is your married name. So Mrs.
Her name's Jackie Balia.
Jackie. Okay. Love you, Jackie.
I also got a DM about you, Derek, from somebody who's been listening to the show from a long time, who was like, is Derek on the show all the time now? And I was like, yes. And they were like, ooh, that's great.
Cool.
They liked it. Yeah, they liked it.
Cool.
I love that. And yeah, like Jess said, you can join us on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/atrophyboy. Atrophy, B-O-I.
Atrophy.
Atrophy boy.
Atrophy.
B-O-I.
Atrophy.
And then you can participate live if you want to. When there are comments, I pause to read them if they are relevant or something that can contribute. So yeah, feel free to join us when we record.
Yes.
Anything else? Any final thoughts before Derek goes and nurses his hangover and me and Jess go to a tarot reader?
I think I'm all good.
Yeah.
You know what? If we are ever all together, we need to go to we need to invest the money, get some wine, and have somebody come to our hotel or our house wherever we're staying, like a medium, and not
Yeah.
tell them who we are, and then record it.
100% yes.
How juicy
It
would
might be
that-
illegal, right, to record people without knowing, but usually
No, not
card
for
readers like
entertainment. Yeah.
usually they want you to record it though.
Mhm.
I think it'd
Mediums
be
and stuff.
very scary to be in the same room as a psychic and Derek, because I feel like he would not hold back, and it would be right. He'd be like, "Yeah,
Oh no,
You
I
would
would
just
want
go
him
for
to
it.
hold back until they're done.
I
and
would
then-
totally play along, but I would lie to them. I would say, yes, I
oh
do
my God, I'm
have
scared already."
an uncle named Jerry who loves sailing. Like
poor
I would
person.
lie.
I forgot to give you guys an update on something. So remember we were talking about the sexual healing
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I did get
Sexual healing.
she'd be a pop star. I did message my friend, not going to give any names because it's a celebrity. Maybe it's just kidding, it's not. So I was like, remember I said somebody had been solicited to come and get sexual healing. And I was trying to remember what my friend was. So they said yes, they had from this person. And I messaged them when I was out coming to see you guys today. And I was like, was it you who told me that beep had offered their body for sexual healing? Yep. And that I originally made, and so this person was also gonna go see him for these services. And I was like, did they tell you exactly what it entailed? Did it cost money? And I remember you saying and this was me saying, I remember the person who's offering sexual services basically sent a very explicit video to my friend. And so I was like, okay, tell me, like, you know what exactly it entailed. We were going to do it for free, but he does normally charge. I believe it starts with this sort of therapy session to understand the needs of the client. For example, overcoming fear of intimacy, and then deliberately overcoming those fears, etc., by consciously using their body as a healing mechanism. And then he said some explicit things that I won't say here. And I said, what does that even mean? And then I asked, did you feel like it was a genuine service or that he was just trying to get laid? And my friend said, I believe it was a genuine service, but I think he was deceiving himself. So
How
they
can it be
believe
both?
that they're offering, because you
Oh.
believe it, but like, deep
I don't
down
think
it's
it
not
matters
true.
whether he believes it or not. What he's doing is predatory.
Right. Looking at his Instagram, I don't know if this is just being an ageist, but like he looks really young. So it says like ex-therapist. I'm like, ex-therapist, did you
So
get out of school and like do that for 6 months? And now
Speaking
you're an
of,
ex-therapist?
I looked him up in registries.
Okay.
He never practiced.
Yeah, so he's not an
What
ex-therapist, and he
You
probably
are
never
you
wanted to be
saying?
one because he probably wasn't okay with the boundaries and parameters of being a therapist.
There's a college of registered therapists that he has never been registered with.
But do you know his real name, not just his Instagram name?
I was trying to find his
Yes,
real name.
I did
So you must
know
have
that.
found
I
it
did
some
find
way.
that, but I forget. Yeah.
Oh, the plot thickens.
Yeah, I did
okay.
Send
find
us
it.
his real name. So yeah, I would like, because I was trying to find his real name to just dig around more before this.
So I think maybe what I'll
recording.
try and do is find somebody who's used the service and see if they can comment on how it was for them.
I should be
'Cause
clear
his
that
About
anyone
Me-
can
his-
practice. Sorry, I should be clear that anyone can practice and call themselves a therapist. Literally anyone. It's not regulated, but there are voluntary. There's a voluntary college of therapists in Ontario, which he was never registered with.
Oh yeah, I think that is more regulated in the US, I'd want to say. But I was trying to find his About Me on his website. He has a little About Me like Instagram story thing, and it's just like him partying. Like, because I was
What?
trying to find his name, and I'm like, I cannot find anything about him. His name is not on his website. Like,
Huh.
ugh.
I think if you are willing, if that's a legitimate service, you're willing to offer pro bono for no particular reason. I think it makes clear what your actual interest is, right? It's to get fucked.
That's the impression I got. And I know when him and I talking, he was like, are you in an open relationship? And at the time we were. And yeah, I got the vibe that he was like, well, I'd be down. I think that's what he said. Well, I'd be down. I was like, okay.
I'd be down
Good
to
to
do you
know.
a favor by providing you
Noted.
sexual healing.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We'll continue to explore this. Stay tuned. The plot thickens. The plot thickens. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, Twitch. I'm closing the stream now.